Hey, everybody. A lot of people have been asking me about what's going on in Texas with the flooding on the Guadalupe River and the many deaths and the people that are still missing. So I've got my friend Dr. Pete Chambers, a former Green Beret and a current, I think you're running for governor or something, aren't you?
Well,
Yeah.
we're put that on hold for now, absolutely. But that's on hold. We're 100% on this mission.
Okay. Well, down in Texas, tell us what you're seeing down there and give our people an update.
Right. So July the 4th, Independence Day, woke up to a call. Essentially, Guadalupe is underwater. The whole corridor is subject to 30-foot crests. Actually peaked out at 40-foot crest at San Saba, but lit out. Got there in 2 hours, and we were on the ground first with the civilian response and local law enforcement. Of course, that's how these things roll. It takes the state a little while to get there. So we got on the ground, assessed the situation. I started making phone calls to all the people that I know. They were already alerted to it. They got the warno, so to speak, warning order. They were already en route to planning to get here, but we're talking from all over the country. But Texas specific, the search and rescue teams, I speak to a lot of them. I used to work in the Texas National Guard, so I know this system really well. So we rolled in with our teams and Heroes for Humanity, another great team, Cajun Navy. So we just, the job that I assumed once we got done with the initial rescues that we could see, then we went into command and control, if you will, over the, not an administrative control, all these other groups. I'm not their boss, but I'm just shooting them to where they go. And that's really what happened. But, everything from what the main news item was the Mystic Camp or Camp Mystic with the kids that were out there camping on the river. Understand, you got 4th of July. A lot of people are camped out on the river. RV parks are full. A lot of people waiting. We got a rodeo in town, all kind of things in Kerrville, all the way down to Center Point, which I'm at right now. And we're about to get out here and do a riverine operation. So the waters have subsided, but there's still a lot of debris. And now we're in the recovery phase, which is the heartbreaking part of this thing.
Yeah. How many people are still missing?
We last heard 161. That was put out by the state earlier today. We've been involved with a lot of recoveries after that initial rescue.
This is crazy, but the last time that river had a flash flood like that was 1987.
That's
And
right.
they also had a busload of kids that was washed away. And I was actually a senior in high school then and was on the river when it happened. I was actually there. We were on a 4-day rafting trip with me and three of my buddies and camped out one night, and we were right on the edge of the river. And then my buddy said, we ought to move up a little higher before we and pitch our tent up there a little on that bluff. So it's a good thing we did, because overnight there was this huge storm. The river rose. We woke up the next morning. The river was like 20 feet higher than it had been. And we were stuck because we were out in the middle of nowhere and couldn't walk home. So we just got in the river at flood stage and rode it all the way down. And we did okay. We had to, pull off a couple times and kind of make sure we were not going to get, washed away or whatever. And right at the end, right before the takeout, there was a bridge there, and the water was up within about 6 inches of the bottom of that bridge. And we saw it, and so we crossed it and got out just before that. But right behind us came these like 6 or 8 teenage girls on inner tubes, and they just got sucked right under that bridge. We rescued a few of them. Some of them got washed downstream, and it ended up nobody died, but there was one girl that was cut up real bad. They all lost their bathing suits. We had to give them our shirts to cover them up and everything, and it was terrible. And I can't believe that this has happened again. Now, I mean, obviously that was 40 years ago, but still,
We definitely
incredible.
matched that. We matched those levels and then exceeded them. And this is the most historic as far as cresting. Like I said, a 40-foot crest at San Saba. That's a pretty big deal. Where we were at, it was at 32 feet by the time I got there. And a whole RV park right there at Ingram, Texas, was washed into the water. A lot of people went
Mm,
with it.
man, man. So, how you talked about some of the civilian organizations that respond to that kind of thing. As I've covered disasters around the country for 2 decades, I've seen a lot of those guys, and it seems like, as you said, the civilians show up first because they're a lot more nimble. and they just jump in the car and go. There's not a lot of preparation time. They just, get their buddies and go start helping people. But one of the things I've noticed is that once FEMA shows up and all the government shows up, then there starts to get a lot of regulations, a lot of friction, a lot of people don't want to work together. The government wants to take control. What's happening down there in terms of that?
That is a great segue, because understand, and like you, I've been in since Katrina, Rita, and all the way through all of them. What we see is typically that same thing, civilians on the ground. Now, we are a little bit different. We're an NGO that essentially we're a ministry, the Remnant Ministry TX. We do humanitarian assistance. We do counter human trafficking. But what we see always is government comes in, they kind of slow things down. They want to regulate. That's what they do, right? And they want to make sure everybody's safe. We enjoy that. But I've got a team of MARSOC guys. I've got SEALs. I've got Green Berets, Rangers. These guys are accustomed to this kind of environment. Right now, we're in an immature environment crossing into a more mature environment, which means that the EEOCs, Emergency Operations Centers, are up and running. They got maps up. They're plotting. They're reporting back to operations. The people in the operations cells are paying attention, putting little pins on the map and saying, okay, we've checked this area. And that's really what it should be. The friction comes in where guys like me are in here and they don't really know. I got shooed away after we found a body and we were out there, and then they came in and said, okay, we'll take over. It's kind of hard, when you're dealing with that, because you've been on it at that point for me, 48 hours. And, it's okay. We handed it over reluctantly, but then they came back to us and said, hey, but could you help us a little further down the river where it's a little harder for us to get to? Exactly. So now I just launched a bunch of MARSOC guys on a UH-60 with the Texas National Guard. Now you've seen how this works. Texas National Guard guys, I'm talking to the liaison from the Air Ops guys to the MARSOC guys. They already have a warm fuzzy, right? They know that they're speaking the same language. They launch the guys. They put their cowtails on the bird, and they get up. Cowtails a little strap to keep them safe, and they take off, and they're going out. So now we're seeing it back together again, right? And they know who they are, and we're giving our capabilities. They understand we were in North Carolina together. It's a little bit of a liability risk, but it's worth the liability risk because we can provide the numbers that they don't have.
Yeah. Well, so what are the biggest needs now?
So the biggest needs right now, we have plenty of supplies. People are sending things in. It's overwhelming. Same thing in North Carolina. That's not really what we need right now. What we need right now is we got to put gas in the tanks, right? This is just going to be, literally just money support so that we can do what we do. But it's not just us; it's all of us. So we pull everything together. When in these kinds of things, we tie it to each other. Whoever's running ops, that money goes to them because they need that. And then that's just how this works. None of us get a paycheck. This is just, to go straight to that.
So tell everybody about your organization and how they can find you if they want to support you.
Yeah. So we're the Remnant Ministry TX. .org. Be sure to put the TX in there. We're Texas. There's another one. It's somewhere else. But the Remnant Ministry is an association of ministries by our bylaws. We are counter human trafficking, and today we are disaster relief, which is part of our bylaws.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I mean, if there's anybody more trustworthy, I don't know who they would be. And if I would recommend to all my people, if they want to send some help to Texas, you're a great place to send it. So
we'll make sure it gets appropriated out. Yeah, we'll appropriate it out to the right location.
Well, I know you're super busy, so I won't take any more of your time, but I wanted to get this up as soon as I could. So thank you for doing this. I know you're right in the middle of everything. So get back to work and keep us updated, would you?
Roger that. And hey, keep praying, folks. We need it.
We are. God bless you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. God bless.